Hey, welcome to video number 216 of Walker This Way with Hazel Walker, the queen of all things
BNI and networking.
I am Mark Simmons. Right now, I am the sitting Mark Simmons. You are the sitting Hazel Walker.
I am, because I'm sitting right in front of this camera.
You are. But if we were presenting right now at the front of the room, in person, would we be sitting in a chair doing a presentation or running a workshop or something?
If you're addressing a room of people, no, you would not. You would be standing. That's one of the first things you learn in Toastmasters. You can't sit at a Toastmaster table and do your presentation.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it this morning because I just did a one-to-one workshop, and I was thinking about that. If I'm at the front of the room, am I going to just sit there in the chair and run the workshop? No. Yet sometimes when we visit chapters and the weekly presentations are happening, or the I have portion of a meeting is happening, some of the members stand for sure. You can see them from where you're sitting, but there's some members who just don't get out of their chair. They don't move. Like they're on vacation or sitting in Zoom, sitting in where they didn't have to stand up. It's a little worrisome.
It is, and the reason, there's multiple reasons that happens. Sometimes you've got a new leadership team member who's very uncomfortable with speaking in public, right? And so they're just staying hidden at the table, trying to run the agenda sitting, because they're uncomfortable standing.
Right.
And then the other part of it is you've got a chapter that's behaving like a club and not a professional organization, right? So standing in front of the room, you've got to make sure you're presenting to everyone in the room, that everyone can hear you. And if you're sitting down and there's people all around, there's no way everybody can hear you effectively. And it shows a complete lack of professionalism, right? So if I were a visitor and I walked into a room, the only time you're sitting, this is the only time you ever see a group of people really sitting. And that's when you're in like a board meeting. Like the CEO's in there or the chairperson's in there, and they're the only one standing. And oftentimes they're sitting because we're brainstorming or we're having a conversation about a plan or something. It's a open collaborative conversation. A BNI meeting is not that. We are a professional business group, and we're not sitting around just having a conversation. Everyone should be standing all of the time when they're speaking, because it shows your credibility and your professionalism.
Yeah, and another part of that too is that spotlight's on you. You're paying for this time in your membership. You're paying to stand up and have everybody looking at you. And when you're just sitting, if I can't see you, I hear you, but I've tuned out. Others have tuned out. They're not listening anymore. They can't even see you.
So the way you correct that is that, remember, whose job is it to run the meeting?
Well, the president runs the meeting.
President runs the meeting. So when the president, so it's important that the president always stand, and the president needs to make sure that his leadership team or her leadership team, they all stand. And then if you see someone not standing, you stand and say, so that everyone can hear you and see you, please stand when you speak. In BNI, we always stand when we speak.
Right.
And that is the president's job to keep bringing that back. You can also use do an educational moment. You can use this video. You can do an educational moment about standing. But usually when the whole group, if you notice that the whole group's doing it, they're running a club.
Yeah.
They're socializing and they're clubbing.
Yeah. And I can understand a little bit, when chapters went from online to in person, a lot of new members only ever knew online. You have to stand. But there is that transition. So it is up to the leadership team and the president, as you're saying, to guide them that, when we're in person, we're standing. It's also the same with the networking, the beginning and end of a meeting. We walk into a room, it's the networking part, and there's members are sitting.
We're all sitting.
We're all sitting. And I know it's Ivan's thing. It's not called that net sit or net stand,
net
net
eat.
work. Net eat, it's net work, but it's not about sitting. Like, not until the meeting starts are members supposed to be sitting. It's stand and engage with each other and the visitors.
And the
Like,
visitors.
stand.
Because the
Yeah.
visitors, that's how you make the visitors feel welcome, is that you're up to greet visitors, right? If everybody's sitting down. I know I'm uncomfortable if I walk into a room and everybody's, as a matter of fact, I was supposed to be at a meeting and I
Mhm.
was gonna go into the meeting and everybody in the room was sitting. And I looked and I noticed it wasn't a BNI meeting, it was a whole different board meeting. And I noticed what was going on. And I turned around and walked back out because it was my first meeting and I would have felt totally uncomfortable. So I turned around and left. I never made it. It was and they're like, we thought you were going to attend. I was too uncomfortable to walk into the room. That is a real thing.
So, in the words of a famous song, members, please stand up. Please stand up. Stand up. Spotlight's on you. Let it
Stand and
shine.
present.
Stand and present. That's your visibility and credibility.
Yeah, because you're not online anymore where you could just all sit. You're back face to face. You've got to be standing up.
Gotta be standing. Yeah, that's how it's done. All right, Hazel Walker. Till next time.
See you then.
Bye.